Welcome back to the Filipino FM channel, your home for Filipino Football Manager content. In this video, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're giving £1 billion to a team in the Philippines, and we're going to see what happens. So the team that we're going to give £1 billion to will be Mendiola Football Club. And the reason that we're giving £1 billion to Mendiola Football Club is because they are the worst team in the Philippines. So they're the lowest odds for winning the Philippines Football League. And additionally, they're also the only semi-professional team in the Philippines Football League. So I think they're the team that needs £1 billion the most. Looking at some of the club details for Mendiola Football Club, they have one of the lowest, I think it is the lowest reputation in the game. They have a really low club attendance. Their finances are terrible, but obviously this is something that we're going to change by giving them £1 billion. Looking at the facilities, they have a decently sized capacity stadium at 4,500, but it only has a 2,000 seating capacity, so they're not getting a lot of money from their stadium. And they have terrible training facilities, terrible youth facilities, terrible junior coaching, and terrible youth recruitment. So we're going to see if some of these facilities can be increased with £1 billion. Additionally, Mendiola Football Club has never won any trophies, so we're going to see if £1 billion can help them win the Philippines Football League, if it can help them win the Philippines League Cup or their version of the FA Cup, and see if they can make any inroads in Asian continental competition. So we are going to go into the bank balance here, and we're going to make this £1 billion. So we have just given £1 billion to Mendiola. We're going to press OK there. And we're going to fast forward 10 years into the future, and we're going to see how Mendiola is getting along. See you then. All right, welcome back. We are in 2032, 10 years into the future, and let's see how Mendiola is getting along. So looking at their history, they still haven't won anything. That is a little disappointing. Let's look and see how their bank balance is doing. So in 10 seasons, it looks like they've spent £500 million. That is a lot of money. I wonder where all that's going. They do a really big is that 174? They have a huge transfer budget. How have they not won anything? I would think that having that huge transfer budget would help them. I wonder if it's because their reputation is still really low. Reputation works out of 10,000. So 10,000 or close to 10,000 would be like a Manchester City. So the reputation is still really low. This is one of the most important factors in the game. So that might explain why they're not able to maybe bring in as many good players. We'll look at that in a little bit. They have gone to a professional club. That's expected. They were semi-pro to start off, but now they are a professional club. So here are their players. Let's actually go to the tactics and see who they've brought in. Let's look at, oh, he is not very good. All right, so we have John Ernesto here, who isn't very good as far as being in the starting lineup. Stanley Hibbert isn't very good. So it doesn't look like they're bringing in great players despite all the money that they have. So clearly the money isn't being spent on players. Let's look at their facilities. And they haven't really upgraded the facilities. Like training facilities are only up to 4, youth facilities are only up to 4, junior coaching and youth recruitment are only up to 2. Oh, but they did build a new stadium, which is actually lower than it was before. I wonder if McKinley Hill was maybe a rented stadium or just one that they were using, but it looks like some of the money might have gone to a new stadium. They now are in Mendiola Stadium. Previously, they were in McKinley Hill Stadium. And the capacity, so they have their own stadium now, so that might be where some of the money has gone. So I'm looking at some of the past winners now from the Philippines Football League, and honestly, it doesn't look like Mendiola has made any difference. United City and Kaya, who are the two best teams in the Philippines, have essentially won all of the Philippines Football League titles other than one for Stallion. But it doesn't seem like Mendiola is making a huge difference there. If we go to the stages here and look some of the past seasons. All right, well, okay, so they were 6th or last in most of the seasons, but it looks like some of the money may be getting put to good use. If we go back to the most recent season, Mendiola did finish 4th, so maybe they are improving a little bit. They're starting to become a mid-table side. With £1 billion, especially in the Philippines, I would have expected them to do better, but they are at least improving, if not very slowly. And looking at the Philippines Football League Cup, which again is kind of like the FA Cup in the Philippines, they haven't won anything there. So Mendiola, despite having £1 billion, other than building a new stadium, I'm pretty disappointed, to be honest. They haven't really done anything. So that was 10 years into the future. Maybe we need to give it some more time. Let's go 50 years into the future. So 50 years from the start of the game, and we'll see how they're doing then. So we'll catch up with you in 2072. All right, welcome back. We are in 2072, and let's look at Mendiola's history. Now we're talking 34 Philippines Football League titles, 31 Philippines Football League Cups, and 3 Asian Confederation Cups. That means Mendiola is making some progress in Asian continental football. This is what I was expecting earlier. So let's look at their club details. A much higher reputation. Wow, 47-34. I think before it was like 900 something. So that is a huge boost in reputation. Let's look at the finances. Oh, their finances are actually really terrible now. 3.9 million in the bank. So they've used the $1 billion, but have they put it to good use? Much better training facilities. Did they build a new stadium? So they built a new stadium with a much bigger capacity. They've used it to improve the training facilities. All right, Mendiola is looking like a real team now. They look a lot better. So let's look at some of the players they have, and their players look better as well. They're still not great, and they're still not on huge contracts. This is much better than we were looking at the beginning of the season, or sorry, the beginning of the save. Their players are much better. They look closer to like maybe a League One level team, maybe a League Two level team in England. But overall, Mendiola looks like a much better side. Let's look at the Philippines Football League. We saw that they won all of those titles. And they are actually the most recent winners with an undefeated season. So they are doing much better. Wow, they have been dominant in the Philippines Football League. So we last looked at them in 2032. They ended up winning their first title in 2037. And from 2039 onwards, they have won every single Philippines Football League title. So even though they don't have those £1 billion anymore, it looks like they built up their infrastructure. Granted, it took 20 years to build it up, but they are doing much better now as far as the Philippines Football League is concerned. All right, I do want to note with the Philippines Football League, at the beginning of the save, there isn't any sponsorship income. And now, 50 years into the future, the sponsorship income is still very low. So when we gave Mendiola £1 billion, it's not like that was going to last a whole long. So seeing them, I guess, use £1 billion in 50 years isn't a huge surprise, given that there's also no income coming in. So when we gave them that £1 billion, that was the £1 billion that they're pretty much going to have. They do have some sponsorship income now, so that does indicate that the reputation of the Philippines Football League is increasing. So that's at least a good thing as far as that's concerned. So before we get to the Asian Confederations Cup, I was curious to see how Filipino teams, and specifically Mendiola, were doing in the Asian Champions League. But looking through, Mendiola doesn't appear anywhere in the Asian Champions League. So let's look and see when they won those 3 Asian Confederations Cups. So this is the Asian Confederations Cup. It looks like they won it in 2061-62, 2051-52, and 2044-45. So they did win it as part of their long streak of winning the Philippines Football League. I don't see them making any other finals, just looking through the list here. So it looks like the 3 finals they made were the 3 finals they won. So the Philippines are making some inroads into Asian Confederation Cup competition. That being said, they're not doing great as far as Asian continental competition. They haven't made any inroads into the Asian Champions League, which is a little bit disappointing given they had £1 billion. But overall, I think Mendiola has really improved, as you would expect with £1 billion. Again, 34 Football League titles, 3 Asian Confederations Cup, and 31 Philippines Football League Cups. They're not doing too bad. So that in mind, I think the total saves that I have for this is maybe 97 years. So let's jump to the end and see the finality of what 1 billion pounds did for Mendiola Football Club. Let's see you then. Welcome back. We are in 2119, the year, so we're 97 years into the future, I believe. I didn't quite get the save file to 100 years, but let's see how Mendiola is doing. So a huge increase in reputation, again, from where we saw at the beginning of the save. So that's really good. As far as the finances are, all right, they have, what is that, 37 million in the bank balance. Wow. So they've got some income from somewhere. Let's look at their income. All right, they've got kit sponsorships. So at the start of the game, Mendiola has no income at all. So it's nice to see them getting billions of pounds in sponsorships. How are their facilities? Their facilities have really increased. This is facilities you might expect to see for an English Premier League club. So Mendiola has really used the billion pounds, or at least the start of the billion pounds, to become a much more reputable team. So over 97 years, it only took 97 years and a billion pounds to get Mendiola to look like an English Premier Division side. That being said, they didn't win a whole lot of Philippines Football League titles after. I mean, we found 47 years into the future. I wonder if another club has started to dominate the Philippines Football League, given that Mendiola had 30 something in our previous time, so they've not won all of them. But they did get to another 3 Asian Confederation Cup victories. So why don't we start with the Asian Confederations Cup, look at the past winners. And oh, Mendiola actually went to a lot of finals here. I see 4 finals just in this page, but it doesn't look like they won any there. So the last time they won was 2093, so that's a while ago. But it may have helped other Filipino clubs because I do see Stallion here. So Mendiola's success, here's another one. So Mendiola's success in the league and continental competition may actually have been beneficial for the rest of the Philippines. I was also curious to see the Asian Champions League, but it doesn't look like any Filipino teams have won the Asian Champions League. That's a little bit disappointing, again, given that we did give a billion pounds to Mendiola, but it looks like the Saudi Arabian teams, the teams from Qatar and China and all of them, they're just doing better. And looking at the past winners of the Philippines Football League, Mendiola has finished runner-up on a lot of occasions, but it looks like it's been United City dominance again. So pretty much a few years after we saw Mendiola last, United City has dominated. Mendiola has won a few Philippines Football Leagues, but wow, United City is really, really good. Looking at the sponsorship income, though, it is much better than we previously saw. Kaya and fifth getting what the winners used to have. So 97 years into the future, we're now getting into the millions in sponsorship income for the placing of first. So overall, I mean, that's not too bad, all things considered. I am also curious to see how United City's facilities are, to see if Mendiola is actually much better than the rest of the league. They are on similar reputation. They do actually have a similar bank balance at this point in time. But I would say that the facilities for Mendiola are better across the board. United City has good training facilities and youth facilities, but that junior coaching and youth recruitment is still really low. So all that considered, I think Mendiola, the 1 billion pounds, has helped them to have better facilities and be a better club. But they're maybe not as much better compared to the rest of the league as I might have thought, but possibly 97 years into the future, the league as a whole has just improved. Finally, I was curious to see if a billion pounds for one Filipino club helped the Philippines at all. The world rankings have improved a little bit. They're up to 83rd now, but it's not a huge increase in world rankings. I wouldn't say they've been brilliant. But they did win 2 Southeast Asian Football Championships. So in 97 years, 2 trophies for the Philippines. I guess that's not too bad. So I think we'll wrap it up there. 97 years into the future. Overall, giving £1 billion to a club in the Philippines did help them to dominate the Philippines for a period of time, and it did help to bring up the level of the reputation of the Philippines. However, it wasn't enough to win an Asian Champions League, which is pretty disappointing. Alright, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we will be back with more Football Manager 2023 content soon. Bye!